Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being a show where we talk about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about Go Go Loser Ranger Season 2, Episode 4. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. So we learn a little bit more about Hisui at an earlier part in this episode that we find out her story is very much like Hibiki and his sister, how they both lost parents to a boss monster. I mean, to be fair, it's like I'm sure so many people's lives were in fact impacted by boss monsters, because even Blue had his run-in with a boss monster as well. So it's not out of that realm of possibility. I think it's just meant to be that thing of that story isn't special. It's a story that is sadly far too common. And so she gets adopted by like her friend's family. I think her friend's name was like Sayaka, and her family took her in, and she was kind of living a normal life, going to school, having a best friend. But obviously that trauma didn't go away. Obviously that moment she saw the kids playing Rangers, and her friend thinks like, oh, you staring at him because you like him, but it's like all that Ranger stuff is kind of like already implanted in her head, and she's thinking about it. And especially when that kid pretends to be a monster, it sets her off. She kind of has a PTSD moment, like runs to the bathroom and vomits. We also get see a old familiar face that is sadly no longer with us, Sojiro Ishikawa. I was like, interesting. They had their connections. Obviously. Interesting enough, we find out he was there when she got rescued after the incident that killed her family. He was there, and so that, because I thought that was interesting. It's like, why do they have that connection? Especially because he's still a cadet at that time, you know. I mean, obviously he was still a cadet when we met him, but still, you get what I'm meaning. It's not like he's an official ranger; he was just a cadet. So, but I mean, they could still do what they're doing. They just obviously haven't passed the test yet. But yeah, it's real, but it's interesting the conversation they were having, because Hisui was kind of like the duality of it all, where it's just like that thing, that fortress is still above us. Monsters are a threat, but everyone's going about their everyday life, and Ishikawa was coming at it from the perspective of that's kind of the point of it, is to kind of make people try not to think about it, so they kind of live in this kind of reality where they kind of just like, you don't acknowledge that. But we as the Rangers, our job is to exist in its reality and kind of protect people from everything. It's kind of like this, I don't know what the right phrase for it would be, but just that, not even out of sight, out of mind. It's your new normal, and you're just trying to accept it as it is. You're just accepting the world as it is and trying to find some normalcy, and the Rangers try to keep that up. But yeah, it's a constant reminder. And when this guy approached Hisui about like, oh, like, what's your connection to that ranger, she attacked the dude and kind of left him a bloody mess. And her friend got freaked out and got scared of her. And at that moment, Hisui was like, all right, let's go. I'm going to join the Rangers. Because I think for her, she just assumed like, oh my God, this guy's asking questions. He might be a monster. Like it triggered something in her. But he belonged to some kind of department. He was a regular human. I think the thing is, he was probably trying to find out what's so special about you. Why was someone from the Rangers trying to talk to you? But obviously Ishikawa had a personal investment in Hisui, because he rescued her. He was there when she was found, and he helped her. So it's like he checks in on her from time to time. But yeah, 4 years later, she's the youngest to end up becoming a full-blown ranger, and she sees her friend Sayaka just having a fun time, just living a normal life. Kind of reminds me of Valerie and Eve. If you've watched Invincible, the Adam Eve special episode, it kind of reminded me of that, how that situation fell out. But it's like, yeah, I'm this not normal person, and any attempts at a normal, because that's sad too, because like we see, knowing like there was like roughly 2 years of her not having a normal life. I mean, because we know she was like 8 at the time, so it's like, yeah, like there was like almost no time, because like she apparently dropped out of school at 10, so maybe she still went to school from time to time while she was a ranger, like in that time frame, and then once she turned 10, she fully dropped out. Maybe that's how that worked. But yeah, like she sacrificed her life, because for her, because she's currently panicking present day, because she can't find Hibiki anywhere. She's like, oh my God, I should have went with him. I shouldn't have let him go alone. But she was struggling with everything she was dealing with last episode. Her attempt to try to go after Wakaba did not go well, and now she's got this illusion overriding her own memory. So she was struggling with that because it's like I can't really even go after Wakaba again because I missed my shot, and he's going to have defenses up to make sure that there's a reset, and every time it resets, it's just going to make it worse on me, and with these memories. But she's now blaming herself because she's like, he was under my charge, and also is like, I failed to protect someone again. And she thought like, I lost someone again. She felt that when she lost her parents, when she lost Sayaka, and it's like, I thought I was over losing people. And then the other Rangers inside of the Green Unit, she lost them too. And it's like, nope, I wasn't beyond losing more people. The beginning of the episode actually starts with Fighter D on the outside trying to find his way back in, and he runs into those cops he ran into back in, was that episode 1, I believe? Or was that episode 2? I don't remember. Either way, the cops that were like getting on, it had to be episode 1. The cops that were getting on Chidori's case, they show up and being like, okay, all the stuff you're telling us, you're kind of crazy. But one of the cops is like, no, he might not be too crazy. The name Gato is the name of a soldier that went missing, which we learned last episode about Gato being a soldier. But then they also point out like, yeah, something's not right because they haven't seen Wakaba walking about. So it kind of, at the same time, you're figuring out like, okay, so definitely like they're under the impression, like Hisui and them are under the impression it's Makita inside of Wakaba's body, but it's like, no, it's not. Because like they went out of their way to, like when he came in to see Fighter D last episode, we saw his head and it seemed like he was wearing gym clothes or something. So I was like, oh, that gym teacher we just saw, was that him? That's what I was wondering. But it's like, oh, they've seen someone walking around and it's like, why is it? What's going on there? And so eventually the cops themselves get drawn into the illusion. And I love that, well, because Chidori and Hisui are there talking, and Hisui's just like, I'm going to wait for my perfect opportunity to strike, but he's in such a public place that all the students are going to see us, so any attempt to kill him, unless it fully sticks before the reset, it's not going to happen. So, but he comes over to taunt her a little bit, and he kind of explains like, oh, no, I'm not being controlled by this monster. This is just who I am. Basically, being trapped here, he went insane. It's essentially a time loop, and, no matter how much time is passing, like when it resets over and over again, you kind of lose it. And so, was it Tokiawa? The senior member that Hisui was very close with, she wanted to keep fighting. It's like, right, we got to fight him. We can't let Magita get away. And Wakaba said, like, her desperation to keep fighting. He was like, I saw her as the true evil, and he killed her because he thought, like, no, I don't want to keep doing this. He got scared, and he killed her in the process. So I don't know if he killed the others as well, because she wasn't the only one. Like, or either that or he let the others die. Maybe they got in his way after he did what he did to her, and he had to put them all down. But he's trying to say, like, right, I'm not being controlled. This is just me. I'm the one that did this, just to try and send her deeper into despair, just so I think her, making her vulnerable so her mind is more susceptible to the illusion. But Chidori ends up shooting him in the head, causing the reset. They run into the cops, and the cops are trying to stop him. But he's also... Chidori's trying to get to Hisui before Wakaba is able to kill her, which he attacks her. But he's like, hey, I just saw what you did, principal. That's a violation, and resets it. And it's like, oh. And immediately one of the cops is like, oh, we're dealing with a time loop situation. It's like, oh, you understand this? He's like, yeah, I've watched 100 anime series a year. And it's like, oh, okay. So he's like, oh, so you got experience with this. And so he's trying to lead Hisui away because now it turns out she's fully enveloped in the illusion. She's lost her memories, and he's trying to drive her away from somewhere so he can kill her himself. And Gato stops them from causing a reset, and he's holding on to him and is about to snap them. And one of the cops, he's like, I've also read BL books, and he ends up kissing Gato on the lips to drop him. And it's like, hey, and Chidori's like, that's PDA, that's a violation as well. But in that moment, Wakaba made this executive order of there are no school rules for the next 10 minutes. So it also made it so that squad couldn't reset things, and also made it that he could kill her and not have to worry about there being a reset to save her. And he also has, so... I also love that Gato's takeaway from it all was, hey, you took away my precious first kiss. So he's punching Chidori and that cop. Which also, side note, did I misread that subtitle? Didn't it say that cop's name, like the younger cop? I was like, didn't it say his name was Nishiki? I could be mistaken, but then I was immediately like, wait, wasn't the dude that they associated with from this school named Nishiki? So I was like, is he actually Makita? I'm wondering how that whole thing works. Like, not unless I'm mistaken, but I could have sworn like one of them called out the name Nishiki. Like that was like the older officer or whatever that called him out or whatever. So I was like, is that what that's supposed to be? I don't know. But luckily, the old cop got to Wakaba in time to stop him, but he gets hit. But you immediately see it when he gets hit. I'm like, he's a duster. I was like, that's D in disguise. I love that stuff. Like, if you pay attention, like it was there in that moment he got attacked. Even before it's revealed, you can see like his wound, like that kind of black dust of like the dusters. So I was like, interesting. He knew like if he wandered around with this cop long enough, eventually they get dragged into illusion. As long as he didn't look like a Hibiki, it'd be fine. So like the moment that cop went to the bathroom, D knocked him out and disguised himself as him. It's so interesting. This is all happening while Hisui's like under that illusion. So once her memories come back, she doesn't remember this anyway. So it's perfectly fine. So he landed a punch on Wakiba and tries to use like the divine artifact, but he keeps missing. But it's like because his perception is messed up, so he can't really aim like he's supposed to. But he even says later on, it's not just my eyesight. I think it's just him getting flustered and frustrated, but also like because I think the whole situation is spiraling out of his control, and it's making like I'm sure the divine artifacts react to your state of mind, and the more like on edge and not in control you are, the more it affects your control over your divine artifact as well. So, I mean, besides, our divine artifact isn't even his. Obviously, he's killing a whole bunch of staff and people in the building because he doesn't care because he's so busy trying to kill all of them because he needs to do it before like the 10 minutes are up and he's able to do it, and before reset's able to happen. And so I even love D disguising himself as Tokiwa because Wakaba's trying to say like he's the victim in all this, and I love like D calls him out being like, oh, like how messed up it is to call yourself a victim in all this. He's like, you and I we're perpetrators who already crossed that line, and it's like you're sitting here trying to pretend like you're the victim, you're trying to run away from what you did and try to be like, no, it's not them. Like he's like, oh, I made this peaceful place, like why do you want to challenge it? It's a peaceful place built off the blood of others. Like you couldn't hack it, you broke, and you took it out on other people, making them out to be the evil people. Like, oh, I'm the one in the right, when it's like, no, you're in the wrong, but you're trying to justify it to yourself, trying to make it so like, because it makes it easier to kind of live with what you did, you know? But ultimately, he's like, hey, like, I've got this blade on Hisui. If you come closer, I'm going to kill her. But, and Hisui's begging, like, please, like, don't kill me. But, D is, like, disguised as, Hibiki. He's like, go ahead, you're kind of both my enemies, and charges and hits him because it turns out Hisui, like, the moment she woke up again, like she was back to herself. Like the illusion kind of cracked. Even though she wanted to give into the illusion, she wished she could stay here, but she can't. She's got too much to fight for. And so they're trying to end this. And I like that whole effect of when she activates her divine artifact and it creates that mouth around her, and so it's like, so long as D stays closer to her, they can chomp through it. And I thought that was dope. But he's out in the public, outside, and you know, it's like, right, they do anything to him, it causes a reset. So he creates like a giant ball. Like he uses the artifact that he's like, I am the school, I am part of the school, and he's kind of hiding himself away. They have a strike now because if they don't, he's going to be able to reset. So it's like, this is our one opportunity to get him. And Gato ends up joining them because for him, it's like, this place was meant to be an escape for those from that hellish world. It was supposed to be our escape. And there's so many weak people here. This was supposed to be their safe haven, and it's like Wakiba is disparaging all of that, like this utopia that was kind of being built, like by sacrificing it and causing so much destruction and being so flippant with other people's lives here. Like, you're supposed to be looking after these people here, but you're so flippant about them and just kind of doing your own thing, that like he decided to join forces with them. And came down to it, I do think it's very profound and perfect that obviously Hisui got the final blow when D used the burst form to bust through the shell, and she took a chomp out of him with her divine artifact. I was almost wondering if they'd show it, because I was so curious to see like what that looked like. Did she eat the entire body, or was it just part of his body? But yeah, he was definitely dead, and the reset hadn't kicked in yet. Might not. Well, Magita's still here, and so they've at least removed Wakiba. So now it's the thing of, we got to track down where Magita is now. Like I said, I've got my theory on who he is, because I'm also curious where that other cop is, because well, the last time we saw him, he was with Chidori, so they're somewhere else in the school. So it's going to be interesting to see where things kind of go from there on that front. But we also have our post-credit scene where Red, obviously the whole kaiju incident from last episode, it turns out, that's become widespread news, and he's like, oh my god, I can't believe someone spread this news, and the little dragon mascot thing is almost disappointed in him. I'm like, how, you've been with them a while, how do you not know him being the piece of shit that he is? But he's talking about he's trying to find access to who leaked this information and made it such a public thing, and now this is going to torch their reputation. It's like, well, you wouldn't have to worry about that if you were here doing your job and dealing with the kaiju when you were told to. But that's why I guess he felt fine about it. He's like, if anything happens, I'll get to the kaiju thing when I get to it, or someone else will deal with it. But as long as we keep everything tight-lipped, none of that information was going to leak. So I guess that's why he didn't feel too concerned about it. But I was like, because I was about to say, you not doing anything would be a strike against you. But I guess it's always like, well, you could have handled it beforehand, but maybe the thing is, you'd be perfectly fine showing up after the fact and not having an issue, I don't know. But he also said, whoever he was talking to, he was like, it was like some crime unit. He was like, I'll also give you HCI, which I at first was like, well, the only thing I could think of, I was running through the acronym, I was like, maybe highly classified information about the disappearances at the school. Because he already has Shion investigating the Green Team, which they're currently investigating that. And we also know Hibiki was investigating the Magita of it all too. It's also interesting. Well, no, because he was investigating the missing Rangers, which had also played a part in the whole Wakiba too, where it's like, he's like, how can you blame me? But D was kind of like, I know someone who has it rough too, but the thing is, they chose not to run away, they chose to fight. Unlike Wakiba, who was so scared he ran away, and led to things being where they are present day. So yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see where all this takes us. What that phone call Red has that correlated, well, for one, where this whole kaiju thing goes, but also that information he was giving. I wonder, is it just a thing of he knows way more about it than he lets on, and he hasn't really done anything about it because it wasn't pertinent until now. It's like, well, it's information I'm able to, it's a ace in my back pocket I can play whenever I need to, and this ends up being a situation where I need to play it. But we'll have to wait to see what the full context of all that is, and what information was given to who, and what does that necessarily mean for the situation at the school right now. We'll have to wait to see. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.